thank you all for coming and welcome to our workshop about the topic is Drupal for end users. Who identifies as an end user? Not so much. So yeah, my name is Josef Kruckenberg. I work at Leap as a product owner. My idea for this workshop today was to show you a few different aspects of what I learned about how an editorial experience of Drupal can be built for the end user. And we also have Jonathan.
Yes, I'm Jonathan. I'm also a product owner at Leap. And yes, looking forward to this workshop. The idea is also to try to think about like where Drupal is really good for end users. I think most of us in one way or another experience how our clients or how our users work with Drupal, and maybe we can exchange a bit on where the biggest problems are, but also where Drupal really shines and where we see big advantages of using Drupal with bigger user groups or end users. Important end users in our context are the editors, the people working with Drupal, not like the website visitors, because that's a totally different game.
Yeah, so that's what we drafted. We thought we'll teach you some basic and advanced concepts about how to create an appealing content or a landing page with Drupal. But because the goal to talk to the editors or to the end users was kind of a stretch for a conference like the Drupal Mountain Camp here, we also wanted to understand quickly who you are, what your experience level with Drupal is. So does anyone feel like, okay, they have not so much experience with Drupal yet, so they would like to learn about the basic concepts? So there's probably more like advanced people. Can we get a little bit of an understanding of maybe just let us know what your content workflows look like right now? Do you have like a favorite suite of modules, or what was your motivation also to come here, so that we get a little bit of an understanding of the audience? Would be cool.
You can just shout or raise your voice. What is your like situation? What are you in touch with? What do you use?
Okay, so I work at Victoria, and I work there as a marketing manager. So I deal with the Victoria website in terms of like content creation, and we use layout builder, which I don't like that much, but I guess it's not up to me whether to decide. And I also worked on a couple of community projects where there was paragraphs being used. And yeah, the workflow is pretty easy actually. I have to create the content, and somehow the drafts that I will put into the CMS will be shared with me via docs, or maybe someone else also has like a user account and creates a draft already within the CMS that I can review afterwards.
Cool, thank you. Someone else?
I work at NetNote. We are using a lot of paragraphs for our projects, and also the content planning module and workflow for the editorial work.
Cool, thank you. Any other experiences or situations where you use Drupal? Good. I suggest we continue. Thank you very much for your inputs. Maybe I quickly summarize for those who just came. We'll look at some basic concepts of Drupal, and we'll try to think about what they mean for end users. Your perspective is very valuable. I think you are the one that uses Drupal in your day-to-day life and not just thinks about what people would use in their day-to-day lives. So that's definitely very valuable.
Cool. So just as a quick refresher, probably for most of you it will sound familiar, but in Drupal, when you start to learn Drupal, you have to get familiar with a few concepts. So I'll try to go quickly through them. If you want to dive more into it, just raise your hand or shout us a question. So in order to display something on the website, one of the fundamental concepts of Drupal is that there are blocks. A block can be something that the editor creates, or a block can be something that Drupal already provides. For example, the page title, it's filled in by the editor, but it's a block that's already provided by the system. If I want to place let's say an announcement box on the front page, this is probably more like a block that I create as a content editor, and then I can reuse the announcement box wherever I want to use it. It's not tied, like we've heard paragraphs, that a paragraph would be tied to the content that it belongs to, but the block, the content block can be used independently. We could also think about the latest news articles being a block that is provided and that can then be placed on the website. We can see on the screenshot that there's different regions where blocks can be configured to be placed. This placement of blocks is usually not done by the editors, but sometimes they can also place the blocks within the content area. Then we have the nodes. So a node is a piece of content in Drupal, and so a node is really a page where you want to go to and read it. Like, for example, the article could be a node, a home page could be a node, a landing page could be a node. And yeah, they take structured content, they always have a URL, they have different fields and metadata and the title. If you come from other systems like Typo 3, they're always in like one fixed hierarchy, and in Drupal, we will learn later how the hierarchy works. So this is the menus. You can have different menus, and they allow you to, for example, create that hierarchy that I've mentioned. Example of a menu would be the main navigation, also the backend administration, or the footer. And with those menus, you can just put in individual links in order to structure the content and makes it allow the end user to navigate. And we've already seen a few of them on the node. So in Drupal, you can really flexibly configure which of the fields should be there. But then it's all like one fixed structure. Those fields, they are basically put, for example, onto a node in order so that we can describe, for example, an image of the news article. We can put in some WYSIWYG text or a date field. Those would all be examples of fields. And the fields, they can be put, for example, onto content, but also onto a user or any kind of item in the system, like a media, for example. Yeah, that was just a quick overview of the foundations we wanted to refresh. I guess it's pretty familiar, but if there's any questions at this point, let us know. Now in the second section, we'll basically quickly mention the different page builders that are popular or that we have seen popularly used in the community, and most of them have been mentioned. We have somebody in the room that uses the layout builder. We have people in the room that use paragraphs, sometimes with or without the layout extension. I'll get to that in a minute. I've also seen users of the Kruckenberg module in the room, and we will also introduce the Blöckli editor that Leap has open sourced this week. So Layout Builder is now part of Drupal core, and it's kind of, let's say, the layout landing page creation way that has emerged. The UX could be improved, I guess, and there's also some issues with translations and content workflows. Was one of the reasons why we went away from Layout Builder after using it for a while. But it's a solid functionality that allows you to create sections with different layouts and place the blocks of information that already exist in the system or that you create on the fly as a content editor. So it's definitely a good way to create landing pages, but it also has its limitations. As it's part of Drupal core, any editor can use it without having to, let's say, install another module. We have, yeah.
There's a question.
So my knowledge was that there's some issues with that. That's why I added the content workflows limitation. But I've not checked the recent state of it. So yeah, we saw some issues with publishing workflows and the revisions not working for us. There's paragraphs and layout paragraphs, which is kind of, let's say, nice and a great experience that we've been using for a while. Paragraphs itself, what does it do? It allows you to create templates of structured content elements. Like a paragraph could be a teaser element, a paragraph could be a gallery component, a paragraph could be any kind of structured item that you put onto your content page. And by creating those different kind of paragraph elements, you give a lot of structure to the content editors, and you can output it nicely, matching the CI/CD. What the layout paragraphs extension does, it provides this kind of front-end editing experience on top of paragraphs. So if you only use paragraphs, you edit everything in the backend, and sometimes the editors struggle with understanding how it should look in the front end. And with layout paragraphs, you can do it from the front end as well. So yeah, we can see that paragraphs itself is very popular with 240,000 installations, and layout paragraph has more than 8,000 active installations. So it's not as widely adopted, but certainly something that people could look into and give it a try. Then from outside of Drupal, we have been able to integrate the Kruckenberg editor. So it's a module that is maintained that basically brings the Kruckenberg editing experience to Drupal. And it's really a front-end editing experience that's really nice. There is some concepts, I think, that you have to translate from the WordPress world to the Drupal world. But yeah, I think, for example, Amazing Labs is using the Kruckenberg editor. So we could also ask them for experience as part of the workshop if people are interested. And then maybe Jonathan, you want to introduce Blöckli?
Yes, this week we open sourced the Blöckli editor. It's basically a full front editing experience. You have the paragraphs, it's based on the paragraphs, so you have the paragraphs you want to use on the left, and you drag and drop them into the page. And you basically see all the time what it looks like in real time. It's built on Noack and delivers a quite easy-ish to use experience for people who are not using Drupal every day. Like, we built this in the context of the Kanton Basel-Stadt relaunch, where 300 people edit pages, but most of them do it like once a month. And we had to give them some tool that they can use without like too long introductions, and they can just see what it looks like. They can click around, and we had to make sure that it doesn't look too bad after they used the page builder. We can try it out later, or everyone, and see what it does.
Cool, yeah. So that was the quick overview of the different tools that we know. They all have, I guess, their pros and cons in terms of being wider adopted or creating a certain kind of experience. Is anyone using a layout solution that's not on the list that you would like to share? We're always curious what people are using in their day-to-day workflows. Like who finds their own solution on the list? Okay.
Maybe you can quickly share who is using the layout builder, like the classic layout builder. 1, 2. Who is using paragraphs? Yeah, I guess a lot. And who is using Kruckenberg? 1 person, very nice. Who is using Blöckli? No, kidding. Cool.
Nice.
Everyone will be using it later.
So you will all be onboarded now onto the Blöckli experience. Yeah, maybe before we get into that, we can brainstorm a little bit what are the challenges that we've been seeing in using those different approaches. We've already mentioned about layout builder. There's some problems with the workflows. We've mentioned about paragraphs, that sometimes it's hard to see what's in the front end. From the people that are using paragraphs, who is using the layout extension, the front end editing experience? No one? Yeah, okay. And then Gutenberg, what's your experience with the Gutenberg editor? Christoph, do you have some insights, what works good and what's a challenge for you?
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you. Maybe what challenges do you encounter when you talk to people using Drupal in their day-to-day lives? I had the pleasure to onboard like 200 users in the last few months. And one thing that really was a challenge is the whole, how do we administrate the menus in Drupal? People really seem to have problems on, like people who are not very technical seem to have problems understanding it. And we realized that once they are used to like modern tools who do autosave all the time, they forget to press the save button in the menu. It sounds really stupid, but it was actually a big problem that many people just didn't save their stuff and then they didn't know why it got lost. Do you encounter like similar things where you say like, when you explain someone how Drupal works, this is a common problem that you encounter?
I think one of the problems is that what you see is what you get is not comparable with what you see is what you get in other tools. So people just expect everything to be more intuitive. Like for example, when a company is building landing pages with HubSpot, for example, it's like very easy drag and drop elements in, and immediately during the process you already see kind of like the finished product. And in Drupal usually there's always this percentage of probability that the content will just look completely different or the layout will be, I don't know, glitched or whatever. So people are very hesitative, I think, to use it because it's just not intuitive.
Like, is it just like the non-intuitiveness? Is it the rendering, so it looks different when I press save or when I press the preview button? Or is it also the experience of the editing in itself?
Yeah, definitely, as well, the editing process.
Yeah, maybe others have comments on that or similar experiences?
wow experience in the editing.
Yeah. Definitely something we experience a lot as well. Are there other pain points where you say like this is a hassle when onboarding users or also when receiving feedback or support requests?
think the main challenge that I see is that people don't understand how to translate Drupal. It's like all the different layers. Okay, is it now config? Is it content? Why is it symmetric or asymmetric? And yeah, so my editors often get lost in the translations.
Literally. Yeah.
Also to respect the semantic, that you have the right headings and select the right one. It's also challenging for the editors.
Yeah. Good. So let's move on. We thought it might be fun to work a bit together on an actual project, so we can use the dev environment for this mentioned Basel-Stadt project. Please don't take screenshots and put them on Twitter or wherever you want to post them. The page is not yet live. They were kind enough to allow us to use it here because they want to contribute a bit. But you can scan the QR code or use this URL. The basic auth is Basel-Stadt and preview, and you can log in with this user that we created. So what we thought about might be interesting is we create a bit of content together. You can experience the Blöckle editor in like an actual real life setting where it's used productively, and then we can look at different things in the project. A lot of stuff in this project is like configured to work in this specific workflow. So if you don't see a menu appear, there is a reason and a long discussion behind it. Yeah, just don't think about it too much. Feel free to log in here, and then I can give you some more context. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Sorry.
Did you get the URL already, or do you still need it? Yeah. Wir brauchen nochmal den.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Did you manage to log in? Very good. We'll wipe everything we do after the workshop, so don't worry. Okay, so if it's fine, I'll...
no, because I added this.
So hopefully this is what you arrived, something like this, in this project. I'll give you a quick intro just so you know where you are. So this is the landing page of Basel-Stadt. It will look a bit more beautiful because we took an extra crappy image for the dev environment. The basic structure is they have topics and they have organization. So when you need a new parking permit, you can look under topics. You don't need to know which organization part of the government is responsible for that. If you want to learn about the different entities, you can do that in organization. So as an editor, let's say I'm working for the Bau- und Verkehrsdepartement, which is like the people responsible for everything regarding buildings. I see this page, and now comes the fun part that made it really easy for us to onboard the editors. We can just say, I go to, there are some elements. Elemente bearbeiten. And there I am now in the new editor, and people can like start editing this page. So they can, for example, say, oh, I need an image. They can drag and drop the image and paragraph into the page and use the image from the media library. And they see right away how it looks like. They can also customize some basic settings, or they can drag and drop the images from their local computer. Let's see if I have an image that we can use. For example, this one, I drag it in, and then I can directly place it in the page as a paragraph at some point. Maybe. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So this is basically what we tell the editors. Click on edit, do your thing. You have the paragraphs on the left. The most important ones are on top. The more special ones are below. I can go into a bit more detail. And then we say, please, before you save, check the mobile preview, because mobile first. It's actually broken because we released a feature yesterday. And we also have this feature of the smartphone live view, so you can scan this page on your actual smartphone, and you see like a real-time preview of the edit state of the page. And that was actually quite interesting. When we demoed that in the trainings with the editors, some told us that they know other people who already had the training, that they, when they work on the content, they have the smartphone on their desk all the time, so they can check live how it looks like. And that was quite surprising to us, that people actually do that and see and want to see on the smartphone how it looks like in real time. So this was quite interesting. What we also tell them is they should not be afraid to move stuff around and like try new things or break things, because we have this history that we can see. So when I change the guy from, let's say I pick another one, working in the government, there's like 20 Thomases, of course. And I save this, and maybe I add some more text here. Then I see like the history of what I've done. This is not Drupal revisions, so this is just in the actual edit state where I am. And when I then publish the page, this gets cleaned up, and I have a new revision that is published. What is also quite important in this context is that we tell them to try to organize their media. So when they upload an image, I'll quickly demonstrate that. Some use the drag and drop. These are more the power users. We experienced that most people working in the government, they are not used to drag and drop at all. So they want to click on an upload button, which is nice for us because that forces them to add alternative text. So for example, if I upload this picture, we told them that if they want to find it again or make it accessible to others, they should always fill in the organization where they work. This is pre-filled. If they are, like, if you would actually work there, this would be automatically filled. So I can say here, Bau und Verkehr. Okay, maybe not. Here we go. I can also select the topic, I don't know, Mobilität. And if I want to, I can also add a tag like Drupal mountain camp. Here we don't do any, like, everyone can do what he wants. We force them to add a title, of course, and alternative text. So, and what now happens, and what is quite interesting, they add this organization thing, and then when you have the training, they say, oh yeah, let's see, what do we have? Bau und Verkehrsdepartement, and now I see all pictures with that respective tag, and they always say like, oh, there's just one picture, no one is taking care of ordering our stuff. So yeah, they have the option to do that, they never use it, but it's actually quite useful. In the beginning of the project, they told us, why don't we use folders? We could use a big folder structure for all the assets. We could talk them out of that, and this is what we landed with, and I think it's quite powerful. So I don't want to go too deep into this. We'll also have a talk, a more technical one, on the Blöckle editor tomorrow, if you're interested in all the bells and whistles. We have a quite nice function which they also surprisingly use a lot. We can comment everything, so I can say this picture looks nice, it's super nice, it's super simple. So if I save it, I just have this comment here, it's on the edit state, it's not published to like the end users, but if someone else comes to the page and edits it, he or she sees it and he can answer and save it, not save it, whatever. But it's, we actually saw some examples of people creating their pages with like 10 comments. Oh, here I must do this, here this must be done. And they have now, I think, 4 months until the go live, so they can revisit it and go through the comments, which was actually quite nice. And I think people are getting used to this comment function. So Google Docs has taught people to be able to comment everything, and they actually get used to it. And some people even do it in Word and seem to like it. So this is basically it. What I would love to, or do you have questions? Something like completely too complicated? Because I would suggest, yes?
I just had a comment on one of your upload options.
Mm-hmm.
That das Bild muss größer als 1000, but
Yeah.
is that something that you also informed the people before?
Yeah, first we didn't have that one. And that was actually because the requirement is quite high. I think when you upload, it's 1600 to 900, which is quite a high resolution. No, we could get rid of it. You get an error if you upload a lower res image. This was actually the resolution they used in their old Magnolia CMS, which is surprising because it's 10 years old and they used this super high resolution back then. We proposed to use a lower one and they said, no, come on, everyone's used to it, let's stick to it. And they said, yeah, we should put a thing. But we didn't, honestly, I didn't think about it. I just put it there and no one complained. Yeah.
Are you differentiating between different like formats of uploads? Because here it says 100 MB limit, and I think this provokes people to upload like very big images. And I know the limit obviously is also for videos, but is there anything that you intend to do in order to kind of like differentiate? So there's like, you can select image first, then you select video, and then the requirements change?
No, we don't upload any videos because they use Vimeo and YouTube for everything video, which was quite relieving for us because it took out some complexity. That was already enough. And we use Rocka. I don't know if you know that, it's like an image CDN and transformation engine to deal with all the images. So we basically don't care about, like we always tell them they should pick the highest resolution, and Rocka takes care of delivering the correct image at the end. And that was also interesting in the trainings. Everyone had some GIMP version from 2022 on their computer, and they all are used to cropping images down to this exact 1600 to 900 pixels. And we're really surprised that this is not necessary anymore. So I think there we could relieve some pains in just allowing them to upload everything. But we have a problem actually, don't post it on Twitter. The tax organization in the canton, they want to upload an exe executable file, which is 400 megabytes or so. And we told them, no, there will not be an option to upload exe files. And they are now getting mad at us because of that. But we'll see. Maybe they can use their private Dropbox or something. Like the issue is that their own file server administrator inside the administration also doesn't want them to share executable files. So yeah, whatever. That's the issue.
Maybe just quickly for the images, it's probably very well known, but there's this the focus point.
Oh yeah.
Inside, so they do not need to care if it's a portrait or whatever format it will be output. By setting the focal point, it will be then be cropped so that faces are not cut off.
Yeah, but this is also not too easy to teach to people because they are so used to cropping images everywhere, and yeah, they are not used to this focal point kind of experience.
Yeah, but this is also, I think, a little bit due to the fact that there's no explanation in the in the editing process, right? There's just this cross, and you can just easily ignore it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's something we will probably at some point have to improve. I would suggest we all start working on a page. You can navigate to organization on your machines, and then there is Mountain Camp Home. And when you are there, this is just a landing page. We created one page called Drupal Training. This is like a bit of a collection of a video, image, bit of text. And what you can do is you can create a new page, and I would suggest you use an Organisationsseite because or a Schwerpunktseite. Just don't use Themenseite because you will get some problems. Use a Schwerpunktseite or Organisationsseite, and then you can, at the bottom of I will just demo it and we can do it all together. So create a new Schwerpunktseite, and you can define a title. This feels like a Drupal Introduction 101. So let's say Abendessen am Donnerstag. Oh no, it's English. Dinner on Thursday. Then you can upload a title, image, you can write a lead if you want. But the most importantly, please create a menu item at the bottom. And as a übergeordneter Menüpunkt, you can select Mountain Camp Home as the parent item. Then it's like we'll have all the pages at the correct place. And then please just create a page. If you want to, you can add a header image. You can also take this Vollbild header, which looks a bit fancy, but doesn't do much.
If you're unsure what to write about, you could also pick one of the Drupal Mountain Camp pages that we have on our website.
Yeah, good idea.
To recreate it. The goal would be to write something related to the Drupal Mountain Camp.
And then when you have your page, you hopefully see this vertical breadcrumb on top. If you don't, it's not in the right place, but that's not a big problem. And if you want to, you can just start editing and play around with it. If you want to, you can also use the traditional node edit form. And no, you actually can't. We disabled the paragraphs there. You could use the normal paragraph experience, but we disabled it. So you can edit the elements. Yes, so this could also be like, we don't want to just talk all the time, so when you encounter things or you want to share things with others, just feel free. So this should feel like workshop a bit, and maybe you can also like your remark was actually quite interesting with the image resolutions. I didn't think about that. If you see stuff, or if you say like, hey, in our projects we always have this problem, please share it, and we can profit from each other in that regard. Yes, and if you have questions, if something's not working, please let me know. Oh yeah, if you open it for the first time, you get this import dialog. If you want to, you can also import an existing page, but you can just click away and start from scratch. And you can also take a tour if you open the menu and you go to the bottom. If you want to, there is like a quick introduction into all the elements. The page language is German, because in the administration everyone speaks German. But if you put it on your own machine, you can of course use English.
Jonathan, the question is if we output any meta tags for SEO purposes.
Good question. We installed the meta tag module. So when you click on top on the here, when you click on this thing, you basically get the node edit view that we all know and love, and here you have the meta tag module. So if you want to, you can adapt those. We currently just output the title and the pipe and then the site name as what is the tag? I don't know, page title, and the node summary, so the lead text there. But you could override it if you want. Sorry? It's not coming through? That's very possible. Yeah, that's one thing on the list to improve that. Excuse me?
There is no CSS application that you are building inside, so all the scripts are kind of built for.
It's a development side pretty much. It's not optimized yet for the.
No, performance is terrible.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still very deep in the development phase. If you want to embed video, that's actually quite a useful feature. And you take it from YouTube, you could take this video, like copy the URL, and when you are in the editor, you can just do paste, like the keyboard shortcut, and then you have it here, and you can basically just place it wherever you want in the page. It takes a few seconds to fetch the preview image and everything, but you can like faster paste it like that. And you can also change the appearance. Yeah, there was always the discussion, how much freedom should we give? So we gave them some freedom, but we still try to stick to some kind of style guides, at least, to not go too crazy.
Do you support like layout, some content layout, multi-column text, I don't know, stuff like this?
In this project, we don't. We just don't use it. From the design, it was not. We didn't end up using it, but the editor itself has support for this kind of thing. So there is, for example, you have these kinds of layouts where you can do multi-column things. But it's not, correct me, Josef, you're much deeper into the layout builder. It's not the regions that we use.
I'm not sure how it's stored exactly, but it's not based on the Drupal layout extension. Maybe what we could show here also is that you can kind of select multiple items and drag them around.
Yes, you can either select the whole paragraph, but you can also select parts of the thing. I'm not sure how flexible it is in the end, but you can definitely select two and put them there and rearrange them. Or you can select two paragraphs. That's actually something I use quite often now on the website you just saw, to move around multiple paragraphs. Also, one thing that the editors love to use, and I'm not sure it's a very good idea, but they just create a page with two paragraphs, a title and a text, and then they duplicate it like 8 times, and then they change the contents. Fine by me. I just see already like pages with 3 times the same title. So you can basically select this image and this video, and then just press the duplicate button, and you have it underneath.
I think one thing that's also interesting is that you can convert paragraphs. There's also this transformation possibility.
Yes.
Do you see your editors using that?
No, it's too complicated. We thought that could be interesting, so I have a title, Drupal Mountain. And you can like transform a title to a text paragraph, and then it's a text paragraph. And you could also do it the other way around, but I think I never saw an actual editor doing it. It is actually quite handy, because if you copy paste something and say like write something, yeah, okay, thank you, and you copy it and then you paste it. You also have it here in this clipboard, and then you drag it into the page, and now you see, okay, it's a text field. So maybe I want it as a title, I can convert it. Honestly, I think this is too complicated for people who don't use this editor every day. Yeah.
I disagree as soon as you have multiple languages to manage and update. Once you are released, like, let's say 4 translations and all this stuff, and you're into transformation and, like, development of future versions, it's such a mess if you end up just, let's say, working in one language domain, maybe trying to change elements and stuff. It's really super helpful with the transformation.
Ah, now I understand.
How you're converting elements,
Mm-hmm.
because we're also converting like the translations with it, with structural elements.
Good point. Very good point. Honestly, they didn't start translating anything, but this is a very good point. So if I switch to French, here, this takes a few seconds, then, yeah, very good point. Then I see this title in the French version already transformed.
So it update. And the second problem with duplicating is the very same thing. For instance, with us, that you're also duplicating translations, and then you work in one context. Maybe let's say German evolves,
Mm-hmm.
and you forget about the translation, and then you still have to duplicate the paragraphs in the translation.
True. Very true.
Really annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. This is true.
Just one question. When using images, for example, you get the option of adding an image.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason why we cannot use the existing images in the library?
From the media library, you can do that. There is either when you drag and drop the image paragraph, you can you get a list of images in the media library. There you can reuse them, but actually quite simple is when you click on this image icon on the top right, you see the images from the library, and there you can just put them in. You can also replace an existing one, and yeah, but this is also quite interesting. I always thought like media library best thing ever. People will use that, but most of the people just re-upload the images every time, because it's just when they I think it comes from using Microsoft Word too often. They just in their mind they drag it from the desktop, and it's not a problem because Rocka basically identifies the duplicates and doesn't care, but we don't see people populating a beautiful library. Maybe you have different experiences, or you somehow manage to get people to do that.
Yeah, we do that by we do a check on the file names, and also do some level of image recognition before the image gets added to the media library. So somebody can be told this is a similar image.
Oh, cool.
Based either on the image itself or on the file name, because we have a place where we ask for corporate approved images to be sourced from. So if somebody tries to reuse the same image, we can identify that this corporate image has been reused, has been used already in some other context. So please reuse the existing one.
Okay, that's very interesting. And you use the Drupal media library, not like an external
So
dump solution.
everything is kept within the Drupal media library.
Oh, cool.
We don't try to make it complicated.
And everyone can upload to that library?
Everybody can
Okay.
do that. Yeah.
So you don't force people to just use stuff from the library. You can upload, but you detect if someone uploads the same image. That's very interesting. So you also have better alt texts and like meta info and source and everything.
We have support about 50 different languages in the organization. So if an image has a strange alt text, that's one of the criteria we need to enforce across all our project experience. That's become a problem for us. So by keeping it consistent, we know we have one image maximum, and all the different language translations, alt text,
Yeah, okay.
is consistent
Yeah.
according to what we want.
That's cool. We are currently thinking about, like, you can imagine people don't like to write alt texts. So we're currently thinking about letting ChatGPT generate the alt text for us. We'll have a little experiment doing that in the next few months.
Do you want to talk about the reusing stuff? Is that something that people use here?
What kind of reusing?
So I'm not sure if I've seen it, but I think a paragraph usually is like say an individual copy, and when you clone it, it's another copy.
Yes.
At some point, I think we have added a feature to create a library item out of the paragraph. Is that something that's active?
No, we disabled that. That was actually quite interesting. And maybe you have similar experiences with clients. So Drupal has this library functionality where you can add content, put it into this library, and then you can reuse it everywhere. Sorry if that's like old news for everyone. And our client said, oh yeah, that's the best feature. We would have survived COVID much better with that feature because they had to put COVID info on every page. And then we built it, and then it was there for 3 or 4 weeks, and no use case emerged. So we disabled it again. But that would be an actual feature. You can see it on the demo page of the editor, that you have the library, and you have paragraphs you can add to the library, and they are the same everywhere. So you can update them on one page, or you can update them in the library, and then they are updated everywhere. And I think it's quite a powerful feature in Drupal, and that's also something that distinguishes us from the Webflows and Wix.com in the world, because it's really a feature that for like complex organizations where you have content governance or like some information that is provided by some entities, this is really powerful and can be used in various contexts. So if the next pandemic comes, they will probably add like the list of test stations, for example, and they can just put it on like 20 different pages, and they don't have to care about updating it in different places. I don't know if you have use cases for this library. I think it's an awesome feature, but I don't really have the best use cases for it. Maybe in a multinational context or with translations, it gets more interesting because you didn't just translate it once and you have it everywhere. No, we had like theoretically you can do everything in Drupal. In this particular project, we don't do that because it's already a lot to ask to people to upload one image, and they are already confused with the focal point functionality. At the beginning, we were cropping the images on mobile in the mobile shape. That was super confusing. People sent us really mad emails. How could we possibly think that's a good idea? Because of course, there were like 5 people opening a new road, and the ones on the right and on the left were cut. And that didn't really help them. So we got rid of it. We now display everything in the same style, mobile and on the desktop, which doesn't look too good. I would have loved to have a better mobile experience, but in the end, this is what we landed with. So, yeah. Let me quickly, so this is the images, they look the same. Have you seen? Yes, we have alt texts. I think currently actually they are probably not delivered, but that's just because we're still developing. What we did is we just used the normal Drupal media library in this field, and there we enforce alternative texts. Yeah, this is like we didn't replicate any Drupal functionality, and yeah, for the images we just reuse that. I think if someone wants to contribute to this editor and has like wants to build a super funky image view, I'm very happy about that. Yeah.
Maybe just a quick thought about the images. There are Drupal modules that allow you to crop per image style. So I think it could also be integrated here, but we have not been using it recently. But I'm not sure if you use it yourself, but there's, I'm not sure if it was the manual crop module, I guess. I've seen quite a while ago that would then allow you to really define the rectangle per image style that you configure it to use. But you can really define the exact crop. Or others also do it that you even upload different pictures per viewport.
Do you do that in your context?
We did from one project, but for a video.
Ah, yeah.
It was not nice to see the, you know.
Mm. I think we'll see that a lot more often with the rise of TikTok and friends, because people get used to just see this like vertical image, and they look horrible on desktops, but they look super cool on mobile. So we'll probably have this. Yeah. One thing I would be very happy to get some input from your side is this whole administration of menus. I think this is quite a pain point in Drupal. Maybe you have different experiences, but getting people to put their pages that they create, the nodes, to the correct place in the menu was actually quite a ride. We then came up with this a little bit improved menu widget that we built, but I still think it's quite complicated in Drupal. So we have this here, so when I create a page I can select where I want it. Works okay enough, but if I want to rearrange or put my page somewhere else or change the order of the menus, I don't know, but I just think this is very complicated. So, I mean, if I'm the Drupal Mountain Camp and I'm the first one in the list, then I'm very lucky. But if I'm here, and this is not even like, this is the dev server, and in the actual one we have hundreds more. Do you have any good modules or ways to tackle that problem? Or should we invent something?
I've not seen a good way to manage big menus. There probably are ways. What I've seen often is that instead of the menus, you use some kind of category system so that you have a more local thing that you basically, I don't know, tag it with the organization, and then
Yeah.
the question of defining the hierarchy is a more local question. Or people would also use things like the group module, and then you have a menu within the group, so that you don't get overwhelmed with this problem of having hundreds of items.
Yeah.
Maybe you could also kind of like filter all the components by account, for example, so that you get the option to say like, I only want to see all the components that are dealing with stuff that I have to deal with.
Very interesting.
Because this is something that Google Docs, for example, does as well on the welcome page. You can say like, okay, give me everything, or give me only the stuff that I am the maintainer of, and then this already gives like some filter options.
That's a very interesting idea. Yep, yep. Thank you very much. I think this could be really helpful. Maybe it was already help if I just see my entries in another color, or like the ones I am the most recent editor. Yep, very interesting. Good idea. Very good idea. Because that's something we did this. We used this option of that you don't see the full hierarchy. That's already helping a bit, but it's still way too much stuff. Okay. Any other questions or experiences you have when you introduce new people to Drupal, to use Drupal in their as editors, or questions regarding the things we have just shown?
I think what would be interesting also, Christoph, if you could share, now you've seen a little bit the Blöckli, how it compares to your experience with the Gutenberg, because I think they're quite in a similar area, what they try to achieve.
The editor experience is quite similar. So perhaps what I didn't found, but perhaps I didn't research enough, is how to apply hierarchy to components. I mean, nested components. Let's say you have a wrapper component you want to embed a gallery, and so which
Maybe like what you showed for the Blöckli with the layout grids.
Yes, maybe. Sorry, oh no, this is not my page. We have nested components. It's a good point, and I would be interesting to hear how Gutenberg deals with it. For example, we have accordions, of course, and I can add like the accordion. Let's call it the container. It's not like, yeah. And then I can add stuff into the accordion. So that's like how we deal with the hierarchy. And here we also, we have the option to do the grid-ish behavior. What we can also do, and that's quite cool, also when doing the trainings, we tell them this box component, this one they use everywhere because they have a ton of PDFs and regulations and 10 steps to get your parking permit. And they, for example, say we have one link and then we have another one in this box. And this is like the normal box when you render it as a standalone component. And usually they at some point think, oh, this is not that interesting. Maybe I don't want this as a standalone box. So they can drag and drop it into an accordion. And then you have it in here. We added now that you can also merge it with another one. So there is some transformation happening. You can't, like, once it's merged, you have to get it back from the thing. No, from the revision. It's not the revision. From the history. Thank you. But this is how we deal with the hierarchies. We have now a project with another level, like 3 nestedness. But I don't know how it feels like there. I never encountered that. But I'm already feel sorry for the editors with 3 levels of hierarchy to edit it. Ah, you removed it. Okay. Yeah, I meant that one. We have other examples of hierarchies. And that's also quite interesting. We have this link list component where you just basically put links, either documents, which are links, but also URLs inside of the page or external ones. So I'll just add some. We use the linked module quite heavily. I don't know if you're used to that one. It helped us and gave us some headaches at the same time. So, and what you can do is you have this link list, and that's actually a feature that people use. You can transform the link list into buttons, and that's very handy for the editors, because sometimes they have 3 files and then they get rid of 2, and they just want one that is leading to a form, let's say. So they can transform it. And yeah, now you can do the next thing. You can transform the button to a text. And then, oh, it's gone. Ah, yeah, I know. We have to disable it. Yeah. But what? Yeah, one thing we're still working on, or maybe we never, is, oh no, it works now. Oh, so good. You can now take 3 buttons and say, let's merge it into a box. And then you have this. And that is very useful in various contexts. Also because we have this search, so they can search here for, let's say, Bewilligungen. And if they want to link to that page, they can drag this in. They should be able to drag it. Yeah. Don't ask me why it's not. So the idea would be that they can search here, and they can just drag the page they want to link to, and they can either drag it into a button. If they just place it, it's a button. If they drag it into a box, it's in the box, or in the accordion, or wherever they want. Same goes for people, which is quite important in this context. Ah, here, now it works. Where they want to link to a person. They can take it. Let me show you. We have one person who has a picture, and he has to show. He's used in every demo, so we can add this guy, and we can say we want the full appearance, or the reduced one, or the minimal one. Yes, and for the power users, we have Control K that opens a command line, not really a command line, where you can do everything without leaving the keyboard. Not sure anyone ever used it, but we're quite happy about it. Cool.
We can take a quick look. Does anyone want to show us the page that they created?
Yes, let's do a demo round. Where should we start? Davos in the mountains. Oh, that's... Whose page is that? Beautiful. Tell us about it.
Just trying the different elements.
Yeah, very good.
Did you notice something that was easy or hard for you?
Get familiar with the different elements.
What they can do for you on the left side?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was trial and error.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue.
You have like a handbook for
Yes.
editors where the different parts are
Yes, I'll quickly show you. So this is the productive environment now. And there we hijacked the help toolbar icon from Drupal. And we have a handbook where this was like done by the client. That's super nice of them. They explain all the paragraph items. And maybe at some point we will also link them to the editor, but this is way down in the backlog. But yes, we have that, and it's heavily used actually. People send us questions, hey, I want to use an accordion for whatever, and you say I should not, what should I do? And yeah. Yeah, so we try to explain that, and we have this table of contents on every page at the top that helps to navigate. Good, let's go to the next one. Breaking the sound barrier. Wow. Whose page is that? Hey, cool. Oh, you added a, yeah. Okay. What is the prompt?
Tell me a story about the chairlift which is so fast that chairs create a sound barrier and use some Drupal words like no menu. This is working out.
That's very nice. Cool.
Did you notice something when you see the editor compared to usual workflows?
I wanted to, there was the story was 3 times as long, then I wanted to shorten it, and when I wanted to edit the text field, I got kind of this screen overlay, text editor, and the one from the side, both at the same time. And then they didn't have the same state, so I couldn't figure out.
Interesting.
I can't reproduce it now, but I had it.
Double click, or what did you do?
Double click opens this preview, like the fast edit CK editor, and this one opens that. But I never managed to both. Very good bug report. If you manage to reproduce it, let me know how. One thing, yeah. Yes, we have, but it's not active because we don't want any bots to create huge costs for us. So we have, this is on the blog.le demo page. You can drag in this add with AI assistant, and then you can add the prompt, and yeah, it's not, and then you say create the blocks, and the cool thing is, we did some tests with also just like reusing the actual blocks, and ChatGPT creates it. It's a bit wacky, but it would work at some point to, for example, use buttons. I create different paragraphs. Yeah, but it's super easy to extend the Blacklight functionality. So you could just fork it, add it, and comment upstream. Very, very happy if you do that. This one with the Ort, if you use an address in Basel-Stadt, it should also get a map. But it's, yeah, we used their own solution. Oh yeah, you see, it's, yeah. Trying to get a preview, but not really working. Cool. Let's go to the next one. Dinner on Thursday. I think that's the demo I created. Yes. Ah, someone picked up and wrote some more. I think I go to the next one. Also called Dinner on Thursday. Oh, that was the one I created. Win a free ticket to DrupalCon. Yes, very interesting. Whose page is that? Tell me more about the free tickets. So everyone who takes a picture gets a free ticket for. Ah, okay, good. And did you use one paragraph? I can. You see. Ah, okay. Yeah, I see. Yeah, this is still quite unusual for people to have these, like when you have title text, title text, title text, they get confused using paragraphs for this. I think that's still a bit of a downside with the whole paragraph approach. It works very well when you combine images, buttons, boxes, whatever, but if it's like a simple content page, it's counterintuitive, the whole approach. Cool, thank you.
So you do not allow them to use any headings in the WYSIWYG?
Long discussion around the topic. We allow headings, but we have the H2 headings that you are forced to use from as a paragraph, and the H3 is then in the CK editor, and nothing more. So you only have this one. But yeah, maybe we'll revisit that decision at some point. The Miro dinner. That's a bit basic. Oh, maybe you didn't publish the changes, yes. Let's go to the Schwerpunkt. This might also still in an edit state. Test DMC. Yeah, I thought. Oh, this picture got lost. Oh no. Okay. There was also a test we did. This is the one from you, Josef. Any comments?
What I'm missing is the possibility to split long text into multiple paragraphs. Other than that, was good.
Yeah. So here you would like to be able to split it in 2 paragraphs.
So I started just copy the whole site and then I wanted to
Yeah.
move it around.
Yeah. I don't know if we would do that in the CK, and yeah, we can think about it. You can open an issue. We have one page about the speakers, maybe still in an edit state. So just one note, we are all using the same user now. Usually people have their own user account, so only one person can edit a page at the same time. We don't have a real-time collab. And, oh yeah, now you see. The picture? The page? Yeah, that's a good point. So there we are a bit hacking the whole thing together. You click on French and you see the node edit view to create a new translation. So, when you click on save, it should create a new translation. Okay, maybe that's the... But there should be an error message if you don't. Yeah, that was the issue. You need to select the menu item, and now you see the French page is created. and then you can click on it and translate it. But as the canton of Basel-Stadt will probably translate 1% of their whole content, we did not optimize any of this yet. But thanks for the question. And let's see the fondue. Ah, that's just this. Maybe there is an edit state. Yeah, here we go. Whose page is it? Ah, cool. Oh yeah, you are really a power user. You used all the complicated, like this one, this KLV-Leistung. This is actually quite interesting because we import that from a system in the government that collects all the services they have. You don't want to see the API, but it's actually quite cool because they only enter what service they want, and then we render this whole thing and they see it. And of course the question comes like, yeah, this price is not right, where can I change it? And then we send them to the system to change it because they want it there. We have here a different display for the price. This might look very weird to you, but of course the data is very unstructured that we get from the API. So sometimes they have like a whole book of text on the left and just a few bullets that are not allowed on the right. So yeah, that was the best we ended up with. Maybe we'll optimize it at some point. Good. Any other pages we didn't see that you would like to see on the big screen? If not, I would say we'll close. Do you have any questions, something you would like to discuss, or you would like to get some input from other power users? If not, thank you very much for participating. We'll wipe the content just after the session and delete the user. So thank you very much.